Hello to all of you. This is my new kind of video vlogging in English for my foreign friends and subscribers, so they can better understand what I'm talking about and what I'm doing in Reaper. And for my Ukrainian friends, you probably can try to use this YouTube captions to automatic translate into Ukrainian. Yep. In fact, I have a lot of thoughts to consider about the first of one is about this. I want to make a video about what is the sound from the global way and how do the people hear it and analyze it from the consumer level and from the pro level. And also about choosing proper monitors and headphones for home recording and mixing, some guitar lessons, guitar repair, etc., etc. A bunch of themes actually. But I'm doing those videos only like a hobby, between my working days. So we will see how it. We will see from your reaction, from your likes and comments, and like how do the popular vloggers say, like and subscribe, yeah. Anyway, let's go down to the video which I wanna show you today. Unfortunately, my camera is overheating and stopped recording my face. I'm looking forward in future to buy some better device for my purposes. Here we have some of funk rock track. You can see below in the comment. You can see the link to the official video clip with the song, and decide if this video is interesting to you or not. If you're interested to do mixing of funk rock music, stay on the wave. What do we have here? Drums, bongo, bass guitar, some guitars, then keys, some of the Hammonds and Rhodes, piano, and then lead vocal, some doubles and some backs, and also one bass track with the room on it, and also master chain, which we will go later. Let's hear a piece of intro and a piece of first verse.
Часом згадаю ті роки, коли ми були гімнюки. Кропиву бив я патиком, їв байду хліба з молоком. Сусід спалив, що я курив, а дідо з бабою сварив. Що люди скажуть, то зараз.
Great. Now let's turn off the master chain. I'll see it's 8 dB of gain. Okay, let's compensate it here. It must be -4. Now it's too loud.
Часом згадаю ті роки, коли ми були гімнюки.
Yeah, here we have a track without the mastering chain. And let's start from the drums. Let's turn off all processing on them. Yep. Not on the all, because we have some of triggering kick. The drums is actually live, all live tracks. A kick, snare top, snare bottom, first tom and a floor tom, and then right and hi-hat, which I didn't use, and pair of overheads. On the snare, we had Shure SM57, of course, and first tom we had Audix, if I'm not mistaken, Audix D4, and on the floor tom Audix F6. On the right head and overheads, we have the Samson small diagram microphones. Okay, here's the drums without any processing. So you can hear the clean sound of everything. Let's start from the overheads, like the usual way to start mixing. Drums. Actually, let's make some break, and I wanna tell you about drums. It's a very complicated theme and very wide approaches you can use to make your sound. And actually, you have some sound in your head, and there is certain ways to do it, and all of those ways are correct. Just the most important thing is the result. And the second rule is, of course, not to overprocess the audio. The audio must be, you're like, actually you're like a sculptor. You just must cut the unimportant things and leave important things in the audio. And just because all types of processing is actually making your sound worse. The EQ is rotating the phase and making some ringings. Compressor also making some distortion. Some of those effects can be pleasant for our ear, some of them not. You must decide in every step of your doing. But maybe I will do another video with considering more deeply. This one is only some brief talking about mixing the whole track. Just one more thing about drums. If the drummer playing good, you don't must use drum warping or drum placing to the correct grid. If drummer if drummer have this groove, you must put all other members of the band to this groove. If you have the worst situation when the drummer don't handle the groove, so in this way you must fit your drummer to the grid using warping or just slicing and putting the all hits to the grid. Also another theme for another video, a bit very deep theme to how to edit the drums. But you must feel, the goal is you must feel emotionally, you must feel this is the good drums. They will make this track cool first of all, and later all of those other elements. Yep. Overheads. So here I have a suit, very great dynamic suppression, very great effect because it's economing me a lot of time. What do it do here? It just tames a bit of this crash sound, harshy sound. Let's hear it in solo and in mono. Here you can see what it do, and the delta impulse. Just a small reduction. Okay, so now those two overheads is going to our sub bass track, and here we have this chain. Let's start one by one. So I made some high frequency low roll off. In context of track, of course, of other elements in track, and some of taming just some of frequencies. Probably from the snare, I think. Yeah, and of course, roll off. One more important thing about high passing the tracks. The most important thing, you must have the same low pass on the overheads and on the snare drum. I'm not sure if I have it here. No, I didn't made it in this track, but the snare feels good in this track. But usually those high pass cuts make the phase rotation, and you will lose the body of your snare drum, so it's not good. You know, the phase problems is not good in any case. Okay, so after this EQ we have great 1084 new type 1084 EQ, where we have just a slight up of the high frequencies, the high shelf actually, and then just a bit of tame a bit of this frequency. The next one, my favorite soothe. And one more soothe. Just taming out some blowing transients on the overheads. And after very great saturation plugin from Softube, I like it's not a compressor by default, but I use in this feature like a compressor to glue in things together on some buses and on overheads. Usually you should use distressor gear or distressor plugin type to overheads. It's the most common way to do it, but I like this more. Yeah, you can hear how it glues the things together. Here is the precision timeline. It's actually just to align a phase of the drums, because our overhead mics are more far from the your snare drum close mic, and actually they was far from 1 and 21 meter more far from close mic. So we make delay on the overhead submix to be in phase with the close mic. Nothing complicated. And one more soothe. Bypass. Yeah, those cymbals are very accentable, are very resonance, I must say. This would be more correct word. Let's go to the snare drum. Let me turn off first of all. Yeah. So again, the high shelf with taming mids and a bit of body. Yeah, you can hear, so even without the phase cancellation problems, we have not enough of snare body. And then a great compressor from Team Pettery is actually a library of samples for Acoustica Audio Nebula. I highly recommend you to buy this great engine, and also I will make another video and we'll explain. This is a very deep theme, because we have Aqua plugins, we have Nebula libraries from official and unofficial developers, and I found for myself just certain the best things, and I'm using them in almost every project. Yeah, actually this is the DBX 160. Just 2-to-1 ratio, and reduction about probably from 4 to 6 dB. Not a huge compressor. And after this great clipper, I use this standard clip, and I use the waves maximizer to tame the transients. The difference is one of them working like the traditional clipper. It just cuts the transient, and you will get a bit more harmonics, high frequency harmonics, and at those transients. But in those cases when you don't want to hear those harmonics, is the better way is to use this limiter. Limiter works a bit another. It just it has some algorithm to tame the transient, not cut the top of the transient. It sounds more not natural, more. You have the less frequencies, less high frequencies on those transients. Let's try to compare them. So we have 9 dB. Okay. So first is let's try to make the settings more hard. Okay, let's try 26. Okay. Now we can clearly hear the difference. Complete another algorithm of working. Yep. So that's what I want to show you. Let's go to the default. Next one is soothe. Some of resonances and the lower mids. Actually, it tames some unwanted resonances when the drummer goes to the rim of the snare. And then some of great lustrous plates from the Steven Slate library, which I also using time by time, and I recommend you to. Okay, now let's hear the overhead and snare together without persistent. You can hear this bumpy uninterested sound. And let's turn on. So as I said before, you're just like a sculptor. You must cut unwanted things and leave things which you want to be in mix. Let's go to the tones. On tones we have nothing, only EQ. Only EQ. So on the high tone we have only this EQ curve. There is not so much drums in the, not so much toms in the song. So, and I don't want, and I didn't want in this song to make those big heavy metal sound toms. It's more rock type of song, not a heavy metal. No, actually, it's the funk song. So. And also we have a part of sound of toms in overheads. So those mics are just a bit more complete image for sound of toms. And I used here only EQ, as you can see. So this is high tom and this is low. Also, when you're getting tracking from other studio, it's a great way to recognize where the toms are. First of all, by listening them in the overheads. So you can clearly hear that they are some of position like right 15 and left 55. Great. Let's go to the kick. What we got here? We have Superior Drummer with the great IOT Classic. I like this drum set because it's kind of acoustically kind of. It's just very tasty. What can I say? Another, just for those kind of music. For those kinds of music. Yep. That's our drum sound, and we have here a bit more processing on the old drums bass. Here we have actually these plugins don't work now. It just boosts sound of drums. Before it was like some saturation, but I decided to leave it without. I used drums without saturation and the sub bass. And here we have also standard clip, just to tame some of snare unwanted peaks, because those peaks are going to the master chain and making the master compressor working bad. It's not the best way. So you must prepare all of your subgroups before they go to the master bus. It's highly recommended. The next plugin is the Melda Production Multi Analyzer. It's a really great way to analyze your submixes before they go into main mix, and also to great way to see the frequency problems in some certain frequency bands. So, and you have the colors the same like on your subgroups. You can see the drums, bass, etc., etc. And next one is the Altiverb. Just to make drums a bit more deeper in the sound image. So for the reverberation on the drums, we have only Altiverb on the master bass and lustrous plates on the snare. That's the all reverb on that we have only on the drums. Let's go to the next one. Let's go to the bass. Oh no, sorry, I forgot about bongos. It's a part of drums, of course. Here I made some cut of the drummer's part because it was too much for this arrangement, and I left just some small parts between where they can be clearly hearable. Yep. And on the processing, it's yeah, we record those bongos to close mics, or maybe this is a close mics. I'm not remember. Yeah, maybe this ones is the close. Hey, you can also hear the drummer beating the by a leg on the floor. It does not matter. We are erasing it with the high pass filter. Yep, and on the processing on them. Only high pass, as I said. The next one, 1084, where we have some high Shelvin and high bell. Next one is Arrosor. Is the very great plugin. Of course, as you can see, is the distressor from the inventor of, from the developer of original distressor unit. And as he said, if you want the ideal distressor, as it was, as he had in his mind, in ideal way, you should use Arrosor. If you want the real distressor unit, it's better to use Universal Audio copy of distressor, which is also made by the same company, the original distressor, electrical. I forgot the name actually. You can simply find it on the internet. Just type distressor. It's a very well-known gear. And one more high pass and low pass. Let's loop this part. Yeah, this EQ just put the one goes a bit more far in the mix. And some saturation. Very subtle, very subtle processing, but all those is very important when you hear in the mix. Yep. What we got here? Taming some of unwanted noises from the finger picking. Sound becomes more straight. And next one is the taming of the root notes of bass was a bit too boomy. So I made this just before the bias amplification. Ampeg SVT, classic for a bass. The next one is the more EQ. Just we made the compression of transients in this plugin, and we then made a bit of presence of the same region. So now you can hear. Actually, when you're mixing, you often may forget to some things. It's just like Painter, you know. I found from myself that very often I put one EQ, then second EQ, then third EQ, and some of things I'm doing in all of those instances, and decide of doing the same on the one. But anyway, it's like the Painter, the Painter work. And one more erasing of low bumpy sound. This all becomes hearable in the when you start to do the mastering and start to compare your track with some reference track. So this is why it's so useful to make the mastering in the same project, like where making the mixing, or at least to print down the stem tracks and then process them at another project. And a multi-analyzer, we don't need it for now. Yeah. Next one, let's go to the guitars. Let's make maybe. Yeah, this must be better. So we have here guitar rhythm tele, this Telecaster. There is also some of automation in context of the mix. Sometimes guitar goes to the left, sometimes returns to the center. Let's see sync. Now I cannot turn off this because it's automated. Let's turn off. Here is without anything. Clean the eye sound. Yep, sure, the eye sound is boring. It's boring. Let's turn on Fender Vibro. And of course, taming of those ugly resonances from a finger picking. Oh man. Let's put a bit more gain. Yep, this is better now. And a subgroup of low pass and high pass filtering. Again, my favorite tool. Taming some of low frequency resonances. Then emulation of SSL 4000 bass compressor. Slightly work, you can see. Just a bit more control to those picks. And then standard clip. And then this EQ is not using actually, it's just for making this panorama changes. As you can see, I tamed one of channels. And finally limiter. As I said before, one clipper, then limiter, does not matter. If it sounds good, it's okay. And all this goes to room bass. This is one of guitars. Let's go to the second one. Second one is Rhythm Strat. It's Rhythm Stratocaster. The classic Strat sound. Baby. Da, 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 yeah. Okay, so we have here also Amplitube with the same combo. Maybe some of settings was changed by me. I'm not remember. And then next it goes to the. And again we have here and this panorama changes. Yeah, you can hear a lot of unwanted frequencies in the lows and low mids. And also some of resonance, probably from the guitar by itself, or maybe from the combo, or a combination of those two elements often can cause some of unwanted resonances. And yeah, again, Soothe. I don't must explain, you can hear it. Some of great Eventide 910, I think. to make some movement and to put the guitar a bit more far into the sound image. Next, a bit more saturation. The wave shaping actually. Oxford Inflator is a wave shaper. Then we have this stereo expander, so guitar can go more wide, and we have more more space in the center for bass guitar, for vocal, etc. And this EQ just for taming. You can see the opposite taming 4 and 5 dB. Like pan low in the SSL consoles, they use pan low by 4.5 dB. This is also another theme to explain, pan lows. Okay, now let's go to the next guitar. The next guitar is my guitar. I play it on the same Strat, probably, if I'm not mistaken, and with the wah wah pedal. Pretty the same combo. It was recorded at the Pure Studio with only one combo, so all guitarists should record in one one combo amp. Yep, we have here again taming unwanted sounds and boosting wanted ones. Great, also great emulation of Roland 3D vintage chorus. Actually, yeah, it's Roland 3D, yeah, and it's a bit more subtle than other choruses that I use, just slightly. You can hear just slight movements to the sound, and then compression, just 2 dB. My favorite soothe. Yeah, just to make those randomly coming transients more straight. And last one, limiter. This is the all processing on the guitar. And we have main solo. This was quite terrible to mix it, because you will understand for a while why I'm saying like this. Let's turn off the solo close. This kind of ducking for compressor. We'll see it later. Solely clean. And great Fender Twin. And we have here gate and compressor. This compressor is a very important part of sound. You can hear how it make a good compression. Yep. And also some of room here. Next we have just step by step, we're making our sound to the shape which we have in our head. And next one is the pulse width modulation type of compressor. I found it perfect for this case to make the sound in your face, very spunky, but not over compressed. Next one is the Great Saturation plugin. Fuse Audio is very great plugin makers. I recommend you to look at them. Okay. And again, we have some of unwanted frequencies, which we tame in the next instance of this. And again, we need some of compression to put the sound more in your face. And then some of taming transients plugin. And then we can hear that we have a lot of low frequency probably. Yep, so here what we have here. And we have some automation too. Oh, it's actually for one of this moment in the song. Because it was too much of low frequency in this part. And some of stereo imaging. And here we have, and the room at last. Very subtle, just a touch, I can say. And here we have the second part of solo. We have this huge reverb sound. It's actually a printing of the same track. This part I just made the printing with all of those effects, and to make the separate processing on it. And we have glue. Glue is using here to ducking, the sound. So when we're getting the sound from this track to this, so when the guitars play, we have a taming of those elements. The next one is a very great chorus from the well-known synthesizer. Actually, this plugin should be after the delay and hall and all things. I don't know why I put it before, but let it be like it is released sound, which is you can hear in the video. I will show you this element in the mix. Yeah. So without. Oh, sorry, wrong. Boring, correct? And now let's put some from the hills and far away. Pretty cool. And next one is chorus. This is a solo 4. There is only amplitude with the same combo. Some of distressor, ideal distressor. Low frequency roll off. Actually, this makes the sound, the source sound more far. Like, just imagine when you're staying and you hear some element from the 5 meters distance, and the same element they hear from the 20 meters distance. So it will have less of low frequencies and less of high frequencies, and also some dynamic response would be another. Perfect chorus. And perfect whole black hole. Yep, we are enough with guitars. Let's go to the keys. We have here a Hammond. Just the classic Hammond I played on certain notes, just to make this pillow, the 4 element pillow in the arrangement. It's hard, it's almost hard to hear the Hammond here, but it does his job. So we have Hammond with a sum of processing on it. Actually, it makes Hammond to do his job. We don't need those frequencies. Sure, for now, if we're listening in solo, no, it's not a good sound. This is better sound for Hammond, but in the mix, hear this muddiness. Now it's perfect. And yeah, so this is Hammond. And the Rhodes, we have Rhodes at just a great Omnisphere Rhodes. Rhodes close and Rhodes pillow too. Just a touch of low range on the on the arrangement. And this is great clarinet. I played it. I actually played it after even we made video, just before the post-production of video, which I'll show you in another video probably. Just because it was not enough instruments in this track, and I decided to put some of spiciness in it, you know. And you can hear it's just beautiful, in my opinion.
Коли вже був у школі я, не вчив уроків, ні награв, на навчання тоді забив.
Yeah, great. Okay, we're close to the vocal now. So in vocal we have lead vocal,
Коли ми були гімн, часом згадаю ті роки, коли ми були гімнюки, кропиву бив я патиком, їв пайду хліба з молоком. Сусід спалив, що я курив.
here you can hear that the singer has a lot of S's in his voice. It is sometimes it depends from singer to singer. You must discover these problems and efficiency and tame them by efficient way.
Часом згадаю ті роки,
So now I just made some
коли
of
ми
high
були
frequency roll off,
гімнюки.
and of course high pass filter. It must be in every instrument, only kick and bass, and probably toms must have a bit less of high passing. And here we have the emulation, microphone emulation. It's just because I'm using the Slate virtual microphone system, and I'm using this is my regular, usually emulation model, the Neumann U67, the Tube one. I'm looking forward to purchase the Blackbird Studio mics. They are slightly better. You can find on my channel comparison between those two mic emulation bundles. And after the mic, we have gate. I don't use the preamp from Slate because I used the Warm Audio Tone Beast in this record. So yeah, preamp before the mic emulations does not matter. Who cares? We are in the digital world. We can do what we want. Next one. Oh yeah.
Часом згадаю ті роки, коли ми були гімнюки, кропиву бив я патиком.
Just all bands boosting. I don't know. Made it. It sounded for me. Okay. And
Часом згадаю ті
good
роки,
in your face
коли ми були гімнюки.
compressor. 1176 famous compressor. Then taming low mids.
Часом згадаю ті роки, коли ми були гімнюки, кропиву бив я патиком.
And yeah, again, this great saturation plugin where I use saturation by fact, and also this great compressor, a compressor feature in the saturator. What is the great about this DTC trademark dynamics? It's just you can when you put the knob on this right side, when you have a lot of saturation, you will have a more natural way of dynamics. You will have this, when the sounds becomes very saturated, it actually it starts to work like the compressor. But when you turn this knob to the right, you will have the natural, like uncompressed sound, but with saturation. So this is the unique thing in this plugin. I recommend you to discover it. But yeah, I use it only for compression, but opposite way. For more glue to the vocal. And then the last one.
Часом згадаю ті
Of
роки.
course, the ESR.
Часом згадаю ті роки, коли часом згадаю.
Here you can hear what I'm aiming. Terrible. Terrible, actually. Just not wanted things in our material.
Часом згадають ті
And
роки.
on the bass. Oh no, first of all, let's go to the other tracks. Here we have the same.
Кажуть, а то зараз.
We have doubles on the same singer. And actually the same chain of effects, only we have the micro shift on the last instance.
Кажуть, а то зараза, а то є батя. Люди скажуть, а то зараза.
Just to make a small movement to those elements. And next one we have back vocal of Gesha.
То зараза, а то є батя. А то зараза, а то є батя. А то зараза, а то є батя.
Same settings, U67 and gate. Then some of high frequency shelling.
То зараза, а то є батя. А то зараза, а то є батя.
And of course, compression, in your face compression.
То зараза, а то є батя. А то зараза, а то є батя.
This is a pretty standard settings for vocal. You can see it in almost all presets in all 1176 emulations. And this the last back vocal
То зараза,
is Oleg back vocal.
а то зараза.
What do we have here? Same one.
То зараза. То зараза. То зараза. То зараза. То зараза.
Great reverb plugin from Chris Lord LG.
То зараза.
And one more reverb plugin,
То зараза.
which Chris Lord LG also has in his studio. In the left corner from his mixing console is the EMT 240 or 250 is just the two units in one. They are 240 and 250, the two units. Okay, and we have the vocal.
То зараза, а то. То зараза.
Some glue compression on the
То зараза, а то є батя. Люди скажуть, а то зараза.
to be more glued and also to be more prepared for master track processing. And again, some of
То зараза, а то є батя. Люди скажуть, а то зараза. А то є.
great sound. A multi-analyzer it was using by me while I made mixing. Okay, finally we're going to the room. Great sound from Sunset Sound room. And after just low frequency erasing from the mix, and yeah, multi-analyzer, don't need it. It's just two plugins on them. And you can hear now, I'm gonna put you the verse
Часом згадай.
without the room bass and then with.
Часом згадаю ті роки, коли ми були гімнюки. Кропиву бив я патиком, їв пайду хліба з молоком. Сусід спалив, що я курив, а дідо з бабою сварив.
So you can very good clearly hear the working of the room bass in the mix, just making this three-dimensional feeling, this scene deepness. Great! Finally, we have 1 hour of our lesson, and we go into the master chain. Just plugging by plugging. But I'm leave the limiter, always turn it on, so we will have the same volume level.
Часом згадай.
Let's put the chorus. It's better. Always start the master with the loud part of your song, because you try to set your compressors on the proper way. And first of all, I have this Reaper script plugin.
Люди скажуть, а то
Is
зараза.
actually this is actually the recreation of VU meter. It's not the VU meter, because some of ballistics are not the same like in real. We have you can find better VU meters plugins, but this is very useful for me, because I have here I have the gain reduction in the plugin, so I can prepare my sound material, go to my stereo track, go to the master chain effects, and I'm not care about this overload, because inside the program we have a very high dynamic range. It not will be distorted. Only when you're going out to the analog world, you must care about it. Or if you're feeding sound to the sum of plugins or effects which are working with the desirable 0 VU, 0 dB VU level. It's minus 18 dB full scale. Also another theme for another video. Okay, the next one we have, and also one more useful thing that I have this plugin in embed size, always view while I'm working. It's very useful. Next one we have this awesome new 88RS console, the master bass from this channel. This is also the Nebula library for Nebula from Alessandro Boschi, from Italian professor of sound. Very great, because it adds a bit of as a sound in Eevee is often described, but it's a beef and a lot of saturation in low frequencies, so we can hear just a slight subtle effect here in this plugin.
Що люди скажуть, а то зараза, а то є батя. Люди скажуть, а то зараза, а то є. Люди скажуть, а то зараза.
Now better I'll use this bypass button.
А то є батя. Люди скажуть, а то зараза, а то є батя. Люди скажуть. Коли вже був у школі я не вчив уроки.
Very subtle difference. You can actually hear it on the good monitors or good headphones. And then I made a lot of discovering the best tape plugin. I am stopped with this one because it just works. Of course, it is very performance hungry, because it has internal oversampling to the 384 kilohertz, and that's the reason why it sounds so good. And also it has a small bump on the 50 hertz, so I made the taming after it. I don't need this bump. I just need the behavior of wow and flutter effect from this plugin. I will turn on and off two of those plugins so we can hear the difference.
Що люди скажуть, то зараза, то є батяр, 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 люди скажуть,
One more time.
то зараза, то є батяр, люди скажуть. Коли вже був, що люди скажуть, то зараза, то є батяр, люди скажуть, то зараза, то є батяр, люди скажуть, то зараза, то є батяр, люди скажуть.
This music just becomes a little bit more tasty, more interesting. Now we have the second EQ. EQ for mixing on master chain. Why not? Just put it on the linear mode and use. Here we have some side channel EQing, mid side EQing. The next thing for to explain in the other video. What we have now. Let's listen the.
Що люди скажуть, то зараза.
This is also a pretty good plugin to mix in headphones. Highly recommended for you. But we'll explain it also in another video if you will interested by it. For now, I'm using it only by like tool to listen some sources like mono
Що
or
люди
mid,
скажуть,
sorry,
то зараза.
then side, only left, only right.
То зараза, то є
So let's go to the side and go to the mono. Now we can hear only side material in the mid position. So what are we doing here? We don't want to low frequencies in this side channel because it makes phonogram sounds more dirty. And also the small bump on the low mid. My usual way of working is like first of all I'm making the image of stereo track, then try to listen the mid channel, then side channel, and decide where I need to make some EQ and or compression adjustments on the mid side or before on the some of plugins before they split to those mid side EQing. It depends of what material you have, what you must do. It's every track, every track is unique. You don't have the, you cannot have the two similar tracks by 100%. Yep. And next one is the fresh air from the slate.
Що люди скажуть, то зараза, то є батяр, люди скажуть, то зараза, то є батяр, люди скажуть, то зараза.
Yeah, now you can start here that track starts become the more radio ready mix. And now this is this perfect compressor.
Що люди скажуть, то зараза, то є батяр,
Sorry.
люди скажуть, то зараза, то є батяр, люди скажуть, то зараза, то є батяр, люди скажуть.
Of course, very famous Shadow Hills compressor. When we have the optical compressor and the VCA compressor in one unit. So let's turn off all compression.
Що люди скажуть, то зараза, то є батяр, 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 люди скажуть.
Yeah, you can hear that sounds become even more interesting. Finally, we have more of stereo expanding.
Що люди скажуть, а то зараза, а то є батя, люди скажуть, а то зараза, а то є батя.
You can use almost any of stereo expander because it's very simple work. It's just making left channel out of phase and mix it to the right channel and the opposite side. So your mid channel becomes quieter and your side channels becomes louder. But you must pay attention to be careful with it because you can destroy the mix very quickly.
Що люди скажуть, а то зараза, а то
You
є.
must see the correlation meter. And but before we had those mid-side, the sides canceling on low frequencies canceling, so we have a better correlation. Now after it we can make some stereo expanding. We not to beware of those trash on the side channel. And the last one, some of just slightly wave shaping saturation.
Що люди скажуть, а то зараза, а то є батя, люди скажуть, а то зараза, а то є батя, люди скажуть, а то зараза.
So you can hear just slightly material is going slightly more in your face sound.
Що люди скажуть, а то зараза, а то є батя, люди скажуть, а то зараза, а то є батя, люди скажуть, а то зараза.
Yep. Let's try. And this is all. This is all. The last one is the limiter. Just brick wall limiter at all. One of the best in my opinion for now. But there is a lot of choose on the market. You can try and choose the best one for you. Now let's do the complete comparison. Let's Control A, select all our tracks and turn off all the make this.
Що люди скажуть, а то зараза, а то є батя, люди скажуть, а то зараза, а то є батя, люди скажуть, а то зараза, а то є батя, люди скажуть, а то зараза, а то є батя, люди скажуть, а то зараза, а то є батя, люди скажуть. Що люди скажуть, а то зараза, а то є батя, люди скажуть, а то зараза,
Yep.
а то є батя, люди скажуть.
And this is how those mix was made. Huge thanks for those who watched till this time. It probably was so boring, but very often the studio time it's even more boring until you get your perfect results, the sound which is inside your head. So let me know if you're interested in some another themes to explain, or mixing or mastering or editing some of elements. Probably I'll see you soon. Bye bye.